All right, everyone, please rise for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'm gonna take over. Okay, roll call. Councilman Asbill,
Present.
Councilman Buddy,
Present.
Councilman Chatelain,
Present.
Councilman Johnston,
Present.
Councilman Wheeler,
Present.
Mayor Bodier is present, Police Chief Walker. Here. Fire Chief St. Cyr is absent, Finance Director Todd Tunion,
Present.
City Attorney Scott Stansberry, Municipal Clerk Nicole Lee.
Present.
Okay, so can I get a motion to move special presentations ahead of mayor's announcements?
Motion.
I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Johnson, second by Councilman Asbill, to move special presentations ahead of mayor's announcements. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Now we'll start with special presentations. And our first special presentation will be to the United States Coast Guard. And this is in special recognition to Commander Keith Blair, U.S. Coast Guard Air Station in New Orleans. And just so you guys know, at our parade that we had, we actually had a flyover from the Coast Guard, because that's what we were doing. The parade was a salute to our veterans, and for the reason why we actually got to have a parade in our freedom. And so today we want to today we want to present Commander Keith with this award and say thank you very much.
While they're taking a picture, I've got a proclamation here. I'm going to read it for the mayor. Whereas the city of Harahan sought out to honor the bravery of those who gave all by holding a Memorial Day parade to fully express the freedoms we enjoy, and whereas Harahan has begun to cultivate a relationship with the United States Coast Guard, and whereas the United States Coast Guard New Orleans sector fully supported the Harahan Salute to America, and whereas the U.S. Coast Guard Air Station New Orleans lived up to the Coast Guard motto of Semper Preparedness by working a parade flyover into their routine training and operations, whereas the city of Harahan wishes to show its sincere appreciation to the Coast Guard for their support of this event and their service. Now, therefore, I, Timothy Bodier, Mayor of City of Harahan, by virtue of the authority invested in me, do hereby proclaim May 30th, 2021, in the city of Harahan, U.S. Coast Guard Appreciation Day, and ask our citizens and friends to acknowledge and celebrate the service of Coast Guardsmen around the world. Signed, Timothy Bodier, this 30th day of May, 2021.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
I did.
Okay, special presentation number 2, Senator Kirk Talbot.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, members. So as you all know, we wrapped up the session, about 3 weeks ago, so I'm just going to touch on some of the things, and then Representative Ilgel will touch up on the rest of it. So one of the main things we did during session, you probably read a lot about, was tax reform. So 2 big constitutional amendments that are on the ballot this fall. One of them is Senate Bill 159 by Bretta Lane, which caps the individual tax rate at 4.75. That's a constitutional amendment. That means a majority of the citizens have to vote for that to pass. Secondly, we had a House Bill 278 by Representative Bishop. That compresses all the brackets. So the constitutional amendment puts a cap on it. The bill that passed that does not need to be on the Constitution ballot compresses all the tax brackets down. The trade-off is you're giving up the federal itemized tax deductions. So that may be something you want to talk with your accountant about to see whether you come off better. Most states do it that way. They don't let you write off those federal deductions off your state taxes. So it kind of put us in line, make it a lot cleaner, make it a lot better. On the business side, we have House Bill 274 by Representative Bishop again. Another constitutional amendment. This lowers the corporate income tax rate and limits the federal tax deduction, which we all agree I think will make us more competitive. And when we're trying to attract businesses here, we want that lower tax rate. As far as education goes, the main thing we did now is mandatory kindergarten. That's something that has been talked about for years. We lack. We're always behind in this state as far as early childhood education. So I think this is something that'll put us on a good path. As y'all know, there was a lot of controversy with the presidential election. 6 months ago. So there's been a flurry of election legislation all across this country in a lot of states, red and blue. We had a bunch of bills this year pass. I'll name a few of them. First bill, Senate Bill 224, establishes a voter identification information and verification requirements for absentee ballots. So, everybody's voting, absentee ballot, mail-in ballots. This really, really drills down and makes sure that the person who's sending in that ballot is that person. So that was a great bill. Senate Bill 63 by Senator Mills requires hand-delivered absentee ballots to be delivered to the registrar of voters or an employee of the registrar, outlawing ballot drop boxes. So, right here down the road, you see the drop box for United Way where you can just drop off clothing. We're not doing that for election ballots. You're going to have to hand-deliver those to the registrar of voters. I think that is a very good bill as well. Senate Bill 221 by Senator Hewitt requires paper ballots and reforms the voting system procurement process to increase public input and legislative oversight by creating the Louisiana Voting Commission. We don't want our voting machines connected to the internet, no wires to them. We're doing paper ballots where they're nice and clean and easily counted. House Bill 20 by Representative Miguez prohibits the use of private funds to pay election-related expenses by public official and agency. A lot of controversy there. People are waiting in line. It's hot. We don't mind the government handing out water, but we don't want, some big corporation to sponsor handing out food and water to voters waiting in line to vote. Last was House Bill 167 by Representative Johnson, establishes a criteria for removing deceased persons from the voter registration rolls. We already have procedures like that, but now with technology, we're merging that language in the legislation to keep up with the technology, because obviously we don't want deceased people voting. Second Amendment, another very high-profile, controversial bill, Senate Bill 118 by Jay Morris from Monroe, basically establishes that law-abiding citizens do not have to have a concealed weapon permit to carry a concealed weapon.
That passed?
That did pass.
Oh, wow.
I'll talk about that in a minute. One other thing that was, we had a lot of high-profile legislation pass and fail during this session. Senate Bill 156 by Mizell establishes the Fairness in Women's Sports Act relative to a school's ability to offer opportunities to each student to participate in team sporting events on an equal basis. This is the transgender bill that you've read so much about. Doesn't prevent them from playing sports. It just prevents transgender women from playing in women's sports. So that bill, along with the gun bill, were both vetoed. So this is how the veto session works. As of the Constitution in 1972, we automatically go into a veto session every year after session, I think 40 days after session ends, unless you send it a ballot. So they'll send John and I a ballot saying, do you want to cancel the session or not? If you don't send it in, that means you want the session. So you have to have a majority in the House, which is 53, majority in the Senate, which is 20, to send in those ballots to cancel the session. It doesn't look like that's going to happen this year. So it looks like for the first time ever that we're going into a veto session. I think that's really a foregone conclusion. So how it works now is the governor has till July 3rd to veto his bills. That's the last day. So right now he's vetoed several. Again, the main priority ones are the gun bill and the transgender bill. On July 15th are when our ballots are due. That's when they'll be counted to decide whether, if we hit that majority, and it's both bodies have to hit that majority to cancel the veto session. If that doesn't happen, which I don't think it will, we will go into veto session July 20th, and it can last no more than 5 days. We could take care of all the business in one day, or we may go several days or go to the 25th. How veto session works is you can't amend it or change it. All you can do is debate it. So it's a debatable motion. Let's say if I'm doing one of the bills that's vetoed, I go down to the well, I say I bring the bill up, it can be debated back and forth, can't be amended, anything like that. Then you call for the vote, and it takes 2/3 in each body to overturn the governor's veto. That is a very, very rare thing. I believe it's only happened once in the modern era, and that was an abortion bill during Buddy Romer's administration, but that veto was overridden during session. So we have never had a standalone veto session before. So we'll be going into uncharted waters there. One thing I do want to mention, and John and I worked really hard to this. We got the $300,000 for the fire station, so that was a good thing, and that's that I know that money's going to be well spent. So with that, I'll answer any questions, then turn it over to Representative Bill.
Do you mind if I discuss how much you did for Harahan and how amazing of a job you did
Well,
for us?
it was a team effort,
Yep.
and, you know, John sits on appropriations,
Yep.
so that
Well, I'm gonna tell
that
you
adds a
what-
lot of,
Because he did a lot
weight.
for us too. So just so you guys know, Senator Talbot this year was able to get us $350,000 to put a new roof on the fire station and do all the mold remediation, as well as another $50,000 to do manhole rehab for some of the sewer infrastructure that we having issues with. I mean, and that's just incredible. I mean, he really worked hard for us, and we try to get up there and support him in every way. And we are so fortunate to have these two guys. And I'm gonna honor the next one because as a team, I mean, they really did something special for Harahan this year. Something that I haven't seen in my tenure here in 12 and a half years, and it was incredible. So I'm gonna thank him, but you know how
Well, thank you.
thankful I
And,
am to you. It's so awesome, man.
You know, y'all make it easy because of the capital outlay process, that y'all get everything turned in on time, tell us what projects need to be funded, and, you know, y'all make it a lot easier
Thank
for
you.
us. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to piggyback on that. I want to thank the city of Harahan for being there every week. Every week up in Baton Rouge, the Jefferson delegation has a lunch, and Harahan has been underrepresented in the past, and they have showed up every week with a different group, meeting different people up there every single week, and it's noticed. It's noticed by the speaker. It's noticed by the people in authority, the people that run the committees, and it's noticed that you guys are there and have taken an interest, because if you're not seen, out of sight, out of mind, and you guys have been there every week, and it's a big thing that you guys were there. I'm going to continue on with what Senator Talbot was talking about. This past year, this past session, we've made the largest investment in infrastructure in this state's history. Since the 80s. We're going to put $300 million into infrastructure in this state without raising taxes. That's a huge thing in this state, and it's not only for this area, but it's for the entire state. If you travel this state through the roadways, through Baton Rouge, through Lake Charles, you know the bridges and the congestion that they have, and then that slows down economic development in this state. We are looking to expand that, expand I-12, to continue to expand I-10. We're doing things to be an economic driver in this area, and these things that haven't been done before. House Bill 514 shifts an estimated $300 million into infrastructure projects, what hasn't been done before. So that's a big thing in this state, and we're looking forward to continuing on with our infrastructure projects. Going to pandemic recovery, these guys did everything right with the CARES Act funding. They got everything they could out of the federal government, and you guys are a shining example to a lot of the cities around this state in which you guys did. You guys were prepared, just like Senator Talbot talked about capital outlay. You guys have to have everything in order to be able to get these funds. One of the things we're still sitting on is an HB2, is over $400,000 for the sewer lift station that you guys are waiting on. So fingers crossed we get through July 3rd and you guys will get that to help the sewer treatment facility that you guys need and upgrades that you guys need. So we have that in place. You talked about the manhole cover, rehabilitation that we've had. We're also looking forward to being very fiscally responsible going forward with the American Rescue Plan. We're paying down debt in the state. We're upgrading water and sewer infrastructure throughout the state. There will be over $300 million available to cities and parishes around the state through this program. And I know Harahan will take full advantage of that because you guys have other things on the books as well as other projects in District 78. I know many of people in Harahan use other facilities around here, such as Lafreniere Park. We've gotten money for the rehabilitation of the roof system of the outdoor bathrooms at Lafreniere. We've gotten cooling fans allocated for LaSalle Park, which is the big thing for us. And let's see, got a couple other things I wanted to talk about. Oh, through the session, I'll touch on some of the things in the session we dealt with. It was a 2-month session. It was 60 days. We had over almost 1,000 bills we dealt with. We had 37 constitutional amendments and 706 resolutions and study requests made in a 60-day period. There were a lot of late nights. There were a lot of get there at 7:30 in the morning, finish at 7:30 at night. So it is a long, exhausting session. Senator Talbot will tell you the last week everybody's kind of dragging and trying to get to the finish line. It is very, very tough, and I think we needed this break. It was exhausting. One of the things that I enjoyed the most this year was with Councilman Asbill brought the Young Marines up to be honored from Jefferson Parish. Jefferson Parish was the National Unit of the Year for the Young Marines. Nationwide, out of 248 units, they were number one. And they were honored last year during the pandemic. We couldn't get them up there last year. So we got them up this year before their term expired. That the colonel from Washington, D.C. came up and said it was the first time any of his national units of the year had ever been able to come to a state capitol, which I found sad, actually, because these young men and women have worked so hard. They were so polite and such a pleasure to have them at the Capitol, and it was an honor for me to have them there. Me and Senator Talbot got to have them there, show them around, have pictures with the governor, the speaker, the lieutenant governor. They got to see it all. They were, and all of those people were honored to have those young men and women there. We also got to honor the John Curtis Lady Patriots that won in basketball and softball. It was a big year for this area, and I was proud to be a part of that, and I'm proud to work with these men and women from Harahan, and Harahan's got a great future going ahead. They were honored from the Louisiana Economic Development as one of the few cities to complete the program going forward. They what was it, 42?
46.
46 cities in the state. They're number 46. It was a big deal to complete that, to get that certificate, and I was proud to be there with you guys. So thank you guys for everything you've done. We look forward to continuing to work with you guys going forward, and I look forward to a bright future coming out of the pandemic for Harahan. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can I want to say a quick word. First of all, to thank the two state legislators for being here and giving us that update. Quick question on the constitutional amendment. You said there's 37 of them? All of those have to go to ballot? Okay. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. I was concerned that we would have to vote on all those voters. Right. And then, just as important as the money, I want to thank you guys for helping us cultivate some of the relationships that we've made up there across the state. Those are just as important as the money, and they'll go on and on and on, and we're going to continue to work on those relationships with you guys to showcase Harahan and what we're all about. Thank you.
So I want to build on that just real quick. This weekend, I was actually with Johnny O. Big, and we were at the Lafitte Festival, and he was there. We got a one-on-one with the Speaker of the House. The Speaker of the House is now going to come down and spend some time here in Harahan with us. I mean, without him, we could have made this happen. So they got that $300 million they're looking to put some infrastructure into, and he wants to come in. That's so huge. I don't know if a Speaker of the House has ever been to Harahan, but he'll be here. And that's that relationship, cultivating these relationships. I just can't even tell you how important it is. And sometimes we don't really ask. It's just about being there, and and just, hey, you guys, what are y'all doing? Y'all need help with something? We got, and then guess what? It's there. It's always being a part of a great team. God, we are so fortunate. The city is so fortunate to have you two guys, and to be in this part of this legislature at this time. I honestly think it's the best legislature sessions for the Senate and the House that I can remember in my 12 and a half years easy. So thank you guys so much. Y'all don't know how important these guys are to us and what they've done for us, because it has been incredible.
And they come here and thank us.
Yeah.
We need to thank our staff. It's not us, I promise you.
Yeah.
I mean, we do our little part, but it's our staff, our people that work in City Hall, all the way from the ladies working at the front desk to the accountants,
Absolutely.
CPAs, the attorneys, it goes on and on, the clerk. I mean, it's everybody. It's just
Absolutely.
a team effort, They can thank us all they want. We couldn't do it without our team. Thank you.
Definitely communication.
Yes.
Communication, lines of communication always open. I want to thank Brian Wallace. I know Brian likes being behind the scenes, but Brian Wallace lets us know about everything and stays on top of everything. And you guys, he works great behind the scenes for you guys.
So Brian, Brian's an asset for me. I brought him in a while ago, and I saw something in him. I saw a true spark and a passion for working with me and moving the city forward. And I'm a dreamer, and I love to dream big. And I think that this city is meant for greatness. I think we have a lot of opportunity and a lot of a very, very bright future. And so I give him all my crazy plans, and he molded into something that we can actually present someone to. Because one thing we've learned from the Louisiana Economic Development Commission is that you can't go in with your hand out. You go in with a hand out. And what he does is he creates these hands out. It makes us real. It makes us, hey, look, Harahan's here, and we want some eyes on us. We're here to be a part of something, and we're here to be a part of the state of Louisiana. And again, we're going to come to this later. We were named #1 city to live in, second year in a row in a Wall Street publication. That's 2 years in a row. Harahan's never seen that before, and it's all because of this great team that we have. And they're definitely a part of it, and the thanks is truly to them. Anyone else? Y'all good?
All right, Ms.
All right, thank you guys so much. All right, we're going to go to special presentation number 4, I'm sorry, Ms. Barbara Butera.
Everybody knows who I am. I'm not as big as you are.
Who is?
Nobody. I'm here tonight at the suggestion of the mayor to recall the memory of my best friend, one of Harahan's oldest residents, Audrey Mae Keelman Brock. Harahan was incorporated as a town in 1920, and Mae Brock was born November 28, 1927. Lived here her whole life. She had an older sister, Evanis, and her sister was sickly as a child. They grew up in the blue double house on Oak Street that's still there next door to the building that used to be Fresh Hardware on the corner of Jefferson Highway. Her 2 aunts lived across the street where the Sharon Williams paint store is now. And the aunts helped Mae's family greatly because her father had problems with his eyes. He was gassed during the war, and he had spells where he couldn't see, and he couldn't hold a job. So they needed help as a family. And Mae graduated from Harahan Elementary School, Kenner High School, where she met Leroy Brock. Mae and Leroy were married in a double wedding with her sister Evanis in 1948 at St. Agnes Church, and Mae inherited a large family of Brocks. She was a devoted aunt and friend of every one of them, and she was loved by all. Mae and Leroy had 2 children, Janet and Alan, and they both attended St. Rita School. Their first house was on West Avenue. Later, they moved a street over to Carolyn Drive, where they live now. Her daughter lives there now. And she enjoyed cooking Sunday dinner for all the family, and she'd start frying chicken like 8 o'clock in the morning on Sunday, frying 60 to 80 pieces of chicken so everyone would be able to have some to take home when they left. She worked as a cashier at Camp Plauché, the commissary. She worked for United Fruit Company in New Orleans for 46 years. She and her sister-in-law, Beverly Nipper, had a catering business together. She was secretary at the office at St. Rita Church for 25 years. She was very outgoing and had a great sense of humor and made everyone feel special. She was always willing to help people, ready and willing. She and I lived a block from each other on Carolyn Drive for many years, and after we both retired from our jobs, we started attending church together and bowling together at Colonial Lanes. And Mae was very athletic, more than me. She played volleyball and basketball at Soniat, participated in the Senior Olympics back there, and along the way we became best friends, and we did everything together. Long ago, when I worked in City Hall, I found a picture of a lady named Mary Keelman. I don't know what happened to the picture, but Rena saw it. She knows it was there. And that's what brought me here, was the Keelman name. But according to the family, they don't know anything about whether she's a relative or not. They can't place her in any of their history. So that's just what brought this up about our famous, long-living resident and citizen of Harahan. That doesn't mean they weren't related, but it's a small world, small town, lots of history in Harahan. And in August of 2018, Mae had to leave her job at St. Rita's because she was ill. And the St. Rita Parish had a bulletin. The weekly bulletin was put out in September of 2019, and the special edition included Father Steve's stuff. I'm going to read it. For over 25 years, Miss Audrey Brock has been the face and voice of St. Rita for visitors and callers alike. As a part of Harahan for all her life, she came to Mass at the First St. Rita Church, a wooden building located on Oak Avenue. She celebrated Mass when it was held in the gym before the present church was built in 1962. She has been working here for 25 years in the parish office. Her contagious joy and sense of humor is self-evident and always makes people feel special and appreciated. Her love for life is apparent in the fact that while she will turn 92 on Thanksgiving Day, that was in 2019, it was only a couple of years ago that she stopped bowling, and only a few before that, she discontinued playing basketball. She absolutely loves chocolate and makes sure everyone knows how much she loves chocolate. A woman of great faith and character, May knows how to roll with the punches, and things that might slow down a person half her age don't usually stand a chance of stopping her. While she no longer works at the parish office, she is beloved and truly a part of St. Rita Parish. We truly appreciate her dedication over the past quarter of a century and love her dearly. So we extend a tremendous thank you to Mrs. Audrey May Brock for her devotion to the parish community and to Harahan at large. Thank you, May, for always bringing life and levity to everyone else's life here at St. Rita Church. And I got a picture tonight, I don't have it in front of me, but a picture of May Brock here in the council chambers with Carlo Ferreira presenting her an award for the Senior Olympics. She had her medal around her neck. So she was one of the oldest living relatives, and they have one in the back row back there says she's an original Harahanian.
All right, Chief Walker.
Eric said I can't.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, viewing public. Still having a problem with telephone scams. You know, it's still on a rise. If somebody calls asking for money and wanting a gift card for payment, think about it. Why would IRS want to give a Best Buy gift card? If somebody, laugh, it happens. People are doing it. Bitcoins, you name it. Best thing you can do is somebody calls asking for money, just hang up on them. Don't be a victim. Another issue is about locking your car. We've had a couple of car burglars the other night on Full Street and one in Harahan. An individual was caught, but one of the cars that was entered in Harahan, the car was unlocked. So the subject was arrested. It was a juvenile in the neighborhood. So the biggest thing, if you see something, dial 911, something that's suspicious. We get people from time to time tell us afterwards something happened in a neighborhood. If you see something out of character, don't hesitate. Pick up the phone, call 911, we're coming. Get as much information as you can, a description of the individual or individuals and a vehicle. And don't forget the drug take-back box for your unwanted medications and over-the-counter drugs. It's open 24/7. And our website, harahanpd.com, is up and running. And also the lobby and front parking lot is a safe zone. It's been like that for a number of years. If you have something that you want to meet somebody to exchange, please use it. Use our lobby or use the front parking lot. It's under surveillance 24 hours a day. Thank you.
Okay, so now we're going to take up mayor's announcements. Jason, you ready?
We'll hit that little light right here.
Okay, y'all, it was a very, very, very busy month. And, I mean, we were moving this month. We were trying to get as much stuff done as we possibly could. I foresee it with the rain and everything. It's probably gonna continue to be a busy summer. Because as we're trying to start projects, we're having some issues, you know, with the rain washing them out. All right, Councilman Asbell. So here we are on this is Roseland and Wilson. And what we're doing here is we're lining some pipe with a new technology in order to make the pipe more firm, and it keeps the pipe from cracking, and it keeps water infiltration and dirt infiltration in it. We repaved all of the blacktop there. It was a project that we had, we needed some help on. So we actually had some geologists come in that Christy Trail from the Pontchartrain Conservatory sent down to help us. When we were rehabbing this manhole, the manhole, we had it plugged off to where no sewer could actually come in, but it kept filling up with water. And so what we started to learn is that the river is actually dipping down under the city, as crazy as it may sound, and it's actually coming up around Wilson Street. And it's because of the soil there is conducive to taking that water, or allowing that water to come through. And we'll see some slides later on to show that. So this is where, so I'll come back to that real fast. Where we had the manholes coming in and the river water was coming up, it was actually leaking through the side holes of the manhole and filling up the station, which was pushing it into our plant, which is bringing in dirt and then extra water, which we don't really need because it makes the plant overwork and puts us out of regulation with the DEQ. So from there, we got the whole project finished. We think we're in good shape there. We put all of the infrastructure in that we think to hold the pipe still from sinking. So we started to move on to running a new line down Wilson Street. Back in the day, whoever designed Wilson Street put the sewer lines in the backyard, but there seems to be a major soil subsidence issue back there, as well as all of the Entergy servitude, the AT&T and Cox servitude. So it's very hard to work back there. As a matter of fact, no one will work back there. So we came up with an idea of running it through the street, get it away from the houses, and also it's going to create a whole new opportunity. Is that the way the Wilson Street is made now, the sewer cleanouts are too close to the house. So if you ever have a problem when we got to go into your sewer cleanout, it's most probably going to back up into your home. It's just too close. It should be a certain distance. So we got into this project, you know, trying to, with all of these delusions of grandeur, thinking this is going to go wonderful. And so we get in probably maybe a week or two in, and we start to learn that the soil there is terrible. I mean, like the worst soil that can ever be imaginable kind of soil. And so the river is they're calling it river sediment. And so we have geologists coming in and working with us right now, trying to come up with a plan, because everything we put in the ground just keeps sinking. I mean, they're not calling it quicksand, but to me, honestly, it's like a quicksand. It's super soft and light. It's almost like wet ash. And so we're looking for a plan to come up with some way to fix that. So we're doing bore samples right now. They're dropping a big pipe in the ground to pull up bore samples so we can see if there's any good soil along the entire path that we're looking to put in. You see that's some of the geologists working there. We're working Louisiana Watershed Initiative. We're working with Beta Group, who's doing the soil samples. We're working with the USDA and the rural development, trying to find solutions, because I've noticed that a lot of projects that me and the council get involved in are things that we're revisiting. It's not brand new. And I know this council has really held me to the coals about being fiscally responsible with your money. And I think if that's one thing that we do the best at, is we make sure every single penny we spend in this city counts, and we do it the right way, and we're not revisiting it. Because when you revisit it twice, you're just spending the same money twice instead of doing it a little bit, spending a little bit more to do it the right way. We have a philosophy on working with it. There's about 4 feet of clay, and so we're thinking about maybe keeping the pipe in the clay and not going underneath the clay where the terrible soil is, and maybe force maining it through. Here's the problem: it adds $1 million to the project. So, but it makes it to where we don't revisit it. And now that was what I was talking with State Representative John Ilgon, and that we got to meet with the speaker at the Lafitte Seafood Fest, which is incredible. Thank you, Mayor Kerner, and thank you, State Representative Kerner, by the way. And he wants to come down here and see what we got. That's incredible. We've had so many people. We have geologists trying to find real solutions that are working with the city. It's the best thing ever, and I couldn't have done it without the council supporting me and everybody in Baton Rouge helping me as well. This is us in Baton Rouge actually getting our award, becoming the 46th Development Ready Community certification. There's only 2 in Jefferson Parish, by the way, Gretna and us, and it was such an honor. They came out. This was at our luncheon, and they came out and presented us with this award. It's just incredible. People are seeing us in Baton Rouge working with every single thing we got, and it's starting, people are noticing, and it's been so incredible because we need help. And they want to help a city that wants help and wants to do better, and that's the message that we portray. We have so much to offer, and so much growth, and so much positivity. Next slide. What's that?
That's the best city in Louisiana.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. And this is also, we were named #1 city to live in Louisiana. This is the second year running in 2020 and 2021. Y'all, this is the best city in Louisiana. I mean, we went through every single state in Louisiana. It was Harahan. Man, that's something to be pretty proud of. I'm pretty proud of it. I know that, and I know his council is. All right, so this is some of the stuff we'll touch on that Senator Talbot and State Representative John Ilg has been helping us with. And what's highlighted is money that we actually have on the way, and that's the $50,000 and the $350,000 that was signed by the governor. The $350,000 will go to rehab the roof in the fire department and do mold remediation, it needs it really bad. And then the $50,000 will do manhole rehab. And again, when the manhole rehab is just stop infiltration. And it's big because infiltration is our enemy. It's not something that we want for sure. House Bill 2, the governor got an extension on having to sign House Bill 2 because he declared a state of emergency. So he actually gets to hold on that for a couple of more days before he signs off. We don't think there's any issues. We actually been with the governor 3 times. He knows who we are. He knows we need help. And we know we're earnest in our request and that we're going to be fiscally responsible with every single penny of that money. And we feel real confident that we're going to get it. We spend every Tuesday we're in Baton Rouge, and I know I'm exhausted just going up there every Tuesday. I can only imagine what they're going through every single day for 60 days. It's wild, y'all. Yeah, you can't imagine, but it's neat to see. It's fun to learn the process, and to have great partners there. It makes it all the better. All right, so this is some federal money we're working on. We're working on $250,000 grant with the Delta Regional Authority. We're working on 1.5 with the Economic Development Authority, working on another 1.7 with the American Recovery Plan, and then in the water sector, it's the state allocation for federal funding. We're working on putting a package together for them right now, and so we're going to see what they got to say. We'll submit, they'll come back, and they'll adjust what they think's a good plan for us, and then we'll go back. One thing we do in Harahan, and I see some places do it, and we don't like to do it. We're not greedy. We ask for what we need. We don't over ask, and we find that that falls on ears that people want to listen. We don't ask for more than what we need, and I think it's important because we get a lot of yeses because of that reason. All right, so hurricane preparedness. This is something that we really need to talk about as a community. All right, so we spent a lot of time in Harahan Oaks cutting vines and trees out of power lines. We were getting massive amounts of phone calls saying, why is the power constantly going out in Harahan Oaks? Well, what happens is these vines will grow up your power lines, and then they'll get in there and they'll kick out a leg on your 3-phase, and what it does is kill your power and maybe kick out 2 legs. It'll shut lift stations down. So if we can, at any point that you possibly can think you may need it, get Entergy out there, get us out there. Let's try to get as much debris out of power lines as possible. I mean, they're saying we are going to have an incredibly active hurricane season, maybe more active than last year. And we got smacked with Zeta at the end of the year that got us pretty good. So we want to make sure we can keep everybody's power on. And here's something unique that we do in Harahan that a lot of people don't know. The council and myself and the fire department and the police department, as soon as the storm comes through, we are boots on the ground. And let me tell you how fortunate it is to have an electrician on the council, because he goes out ahead of us and starts telling us what's live and what's not. And what's ever not live, we're starting to pull out, because Entergy knows that we're going to be the first ready to go, and Entergy will come here first to get our power on. And in Zeta, I think we wasn't even out 24 hours when some communities were out over 2 weeks. And so, and just again, it's a team effort. We got, everybody. We got the incredible maintenance department, fire department. You should have seen me and all of these councilmen. Got Councilman Kerry Wheeler out there, right, sawing trees in the middle of the night. It was the craziest thing ever. But you know what? That's how we do it as a community, and Entergy loves us for it. This is an issue that we're starting to face, and we need some help from the citizens on. Man, we really need you to clean your drains, sweep up. Don't blow debris in your drain. It's illegal. If we catch you doing it, we'll fine you. Don't put anything in your drain. We have some issues where people are building pools or doing new sidewalks and washing out their cement tools and put it in our drain system. You will get fined if we catch you doing that. But this is a courtesy to your neighbors, even as more to yourself. I mean, this guy actually, whoever this did, put a piece of plywood over the top of the drain. I mean, we should never be doing stuff like that. And if you have any issues, you can call any one of these council, myself, the chief, anybody, and we'll come out and we'll make sure we get it all corrected. This is my maintenance department, y'all. We are so lucky to have these guys. I'm just always going to brag about the team that I have because you win as teams. And we actually found a drain that was completely covered in a neighborhood that was flooding. We unearthed this drain out, we put a new piece of pipe in, and you know what? It has not cured the problem, but it has made a heck of a difference, I'll tell you that. And again, so we're just gonna go out there and we work hard, we go out, try to discover things, we got maps. Believe it or not, Mr. Carlo, y'all, he's 93, but this boy, I'm telling you something, he knows things that ain't on maps, and he's incredible, and he is a great resource that this city has. All right, so this is us at the Blake. I mean, gosh, if y'all haven't seen this thing, we calling it the Jewel on Jefferson Highway. It is incredible, guys. They have all kind of functions. They'll invite you out to anything. They have all kind of dinners. The community there loves having guests. This is me with Senator Kirk Talbot, State Representative John Ill, Police Chief Tim Walker, Councilwoman Carrie Wheeler, Todd Murphy from the Chamber. Y'all, he's awesome. He's incredible. He loves Harahan, and he wants to help us do better. And then, of course, we got Mr. Excitement, Dominic Impostata. He's an incredible friend to this city, and he doesn't even represent us in any way, shape, or form. But you know what? He's always trying to help us and always trying to move our city forward. That's smoked up there. Uncle Matt's did the liquor, and Wandering Goat. Oh, man, I'm telling you something. They got this turtle cookie. It's the best cookie I've ever had. I'm telling you, it's got caramel. It's the best thing I've ever had. So y'all, go spend some money at Wandering Goat. They're amazing. You know, of course, we got smoke. They're amazing as well. We brought the farmers market back. It'd be awesome if we can have somewhere it isn't raining. But we did bring it back. I mean, it is an incredible feature for the city to bring back. We need to change, and we need to have the people understand that we can be better and a little bit bigger than a city than we are, but we still always want to keep that hometown feel. So we brought the farmers market back. We thought it was incredible. We had St. Rita's Night at the Gold Mine, biggest attendance for the rugby team this year. Y'all, that was just, that's something special. And Councilman Chatelaine and Councilman Johnson were a part of making that happen. And so it was a great night. We support the NOLA Gold. They're right here. And Tim Falcon, who owns NOLA Gold, is an incredible friend to our city. So this is us at the parade. Y'all, I can't even tell you how much fun this was. I mean, I did 4 news stations, 2 newspapers, and a radio show. That's me with Councilwoman Jen Van Franken from District 5 in Kenner. She's here to support us. Polly Thomas, who's not even our state representative, she's there because she always supports me and everything because she's amazing and she believes in me. And then that's me. And then that's Senator, I think that's Councilwoman Van Franken's mom. That's right. And then so just so you know, that's the Coast Guard Flyover. And let me tell you, what I was the most proud about with this parade, other than the team effort that it took to put it on, was we had State Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungas as our Grand Marshal. We had John Schroeder, our treasurer, ride in the parade. Ricky Templett, council president for Jefferson Parish, in our parade. Public Service Commissioner Eric Scrametta was in our parade. Constable Jason Ural was in our parade. And it was just, we had State Representative John Ill. Senator Talbot had an engagement, but we'll get him next time. That's right. Some of us got to work, That session took a lot out of him, I'm sure. And but y'all, it was so incredible. The parade actually stopped for the flyover. And they flew over twice. I mean, our future's so bright. It's an incredible place, incredible time to live in Harahan. That's Arthur Hardy, who actually wrote an incredible article about our parade. That's Public Service Commissioner Eric Scrametta, Constable Jason Ural. That looks like Big John with Ricky Templett, and Dino Bonanno. Y'all our councilman in District 2, what a help he was. I truthfully don't think I could have pulled the parade off without his help. He was just a cheerleader and an inspiration to help me get through this parade. And all right, so economic impact. Of course, May is a slow month for us, but this May, a lot of residents ask, what would the economic impact be of having a parade? Well, the economic impact we had of this parade is the highest May tax or the highest May money spent and the highest May tax that we've received ever in the city's history. That's what we brought in the month of May. That's what the parade did, and it put a spotlight on all our businesses and really helped them. Guys, these people fought through COVID to feed us, and to give them 1 ounce of support back in something like this was just, it was incredible. The truth of the matter is, you know, as much as people wanted to get out of the house, I was such a thanking small business. Hey, thank you guys. Thank you for toughing it out for us. Thank you for staying in Harahan. We gained 7. We didn't lose any. Smoked actually grew to a bigger location. They're now cooking for the Saints, the Pelicans, and the NOLA Gold. So that's just, you know, another shining jewel in the crown of Harahan. All right, so let's talk about our Park of Champions. We got a JPRD, Ms. Dina Gonkel and Ms. Dawn, her sister, actually helped coach the JPRD team. And I'm not quite sure how far they got, because I cannot read that for here, but I know. What does it say? Can you read that one from there? Yeah.
So you read what it says?
Yes.
Okay. It says
Oh.
if you're,
Yes, they're in the regionals. All right.
There you go.
All right, so they made the regional. So JPRD. So I know a lot of people don't realize this, but Harahan breeds a lot of athletes. And our girls team back there, Dominican plays back there now, and then our girls team that's mostly Harahan residents. And I mean, every year, Ms. Dina, who runs that program back there for the girls at the playground, she does a phenomenal job. She's a true asset to our community, and you know, and these girls play at our Park of Champions and help foster their mentorship and playing softball. And now they're in the regionals. Okay, so we found out something new this week. We found out that River Road is actually part of a program called the Great River Road. It's got Canadian to the coast, but it's called actually the Great River Road. It's part of the American River Road Chamber. We're going to use it to help support Louisiana and what Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser does. We're actually working with the Mississippi River Commission on doing some projects on the Mississippi River. Woods Resources, I would like to give a shout out to them. They're actually helping us on a program. We're looking at putting something back there on the Batcher, something recreational. And so they've been a big part. Sarah's actually in DC working for us on this program as well. I think they will become incredible partners, and already truly are. They never ask the city for anything, and every time you guys want sandbags, that sand is always donated by Woods Material. Want to make sure we give them a shout out for that. And that's it, you guys. Hopefully we'll be back with another month, and we'll be back boots on the ground getting it again. Thank you.
Thank you.
good job. Good job.
Thank you. Okay, Madam Clerk.
Approval of minutes. Approval of the minutes of the council meeting on April 15th.
Okay, public hearing is now open. If anyone wants to discuss any approval of the minutes. All right, no one coming forth. Public hearing is now closed. Okay, we have a motion by Councilman Asbill, second by Councilman Chatelain to approve those minutes. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Minutes are approved.
And reading of the minutes of the council meeting on May 20th.
Okay, do I have a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes for the council meeting on May 20th?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, second by Councilman Wheeler to dispense with the reading of the minutes. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Reading is dispensed.
And approval of the minutes of the council meeting on May 20th.
Okay, can I get a motion by Councilman Chatelain to approve the minutes on the council meeting on May 20, 2021, second by Councilman Asbill. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays.
All right. Reading of the minutes of the special meeting on May 24th.
Okay, do I have a motion to dispense with the reading? Motion by Councilman Chatelain, second by
Second.
so Councilman Buddy for dispense with the reading of the minutes of the special meeting on May 24th. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays.
And approval of the minutes of the special meeting on May 24th.
Okay, before we go to approval of the minutes, let's go back. Anybody wants to come up for public hearing on any of the motions for the reading of the minutes, of the approval of the minutes? All right, no one coming forth. Public hearing is now closed. Now I have a motion by Councilman Buddy, second by Councilman Wheeler, for approval of the reading of the minutes on the meeting of May 24th, 2021. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Motion is approved. Communications?
Okay. Reading of the minutes of the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting on May 12th.
Okay, do I have a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes for the Planning and Zoning Commission on May 12th? Motion by Councilman Chatelain, second by? Second by Councilman Wheeler. All in favor? We're going to open for public hearing. All right, no one coming wants to speak up about the minutes for the Planning and Zoning? All right, public hearing is now closed. We have a motion by Councilman Chatelain, second by Councilman Wheeler, to dispense with the reading of those minutes. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays.
And approval of the minutes of the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting on May 12th.
Okay, we'd like to open for public hearing. Anyone want to speak about approving these minutes? I know one coming forth. Public hearing is now closed. I have a motion by Councilman Chatelain, second by Councilman Asbill, for approval of the minutes of the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting on May 12th, 2021. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays.
Reading of the minutes of the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting on June 2nd.
All right. He was being too quiet down there, y'all. Yeah. Well, I was getting nervous. All right, we we open for public hearing for reading of the minutes of the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting on June 2nd. No one coming to speak forth. We'll now close public hearing. We have a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes by Councilman Asbill.
Second.
Second by Councilman Buddy. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays.
Approval of the minutes of the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting on June 2nd.
Okay, we'll open for public hearing. Anyone who wants to speak on approval of the minutes of the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting on June 2nd? No one coming to speak forth. We'll now close that public hearing. Do I have a motion I have a motion to approve those minutes? Motion by Councilman Asbill, second by Councilman Wheeler. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Minutes are approved.
Reading of the minutes of the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting on June 16th. This-
Okay, we'll open for public hearing. Anyone want to speak about the Planning and Zoning meeting? You coming?
Move to dispense with the reading.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilman Asbill, second by Councilman Johnston, to dispense with the reading of the minutes. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays.
Approval of the minutes of the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting on June 16th.
Okay, we're now open for public hearing. Okay, no one coming to speak on public hearing. I will now, can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Buddy, second by Second by Councilman Chatelain. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Resolutions?
And there are no resolutions.
Really?
And ordinances for approval. Proposed ordinance number 2021-8, which was deferred at the May 20th meeting. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Asbill and seconded by Councilman Chatelain. An ordinance authorizing the approval, adoption, and execution of that certain amended and restated development agreement for the residential and commercial redevelopment of the former Colonial Golf and Country Club by and between JW Colonial Group LLC and the City of Harahan.
Point of order. I think we have two amendments that are going to be offered from the floor. Can we take those, can we offer those amendments before we open discussion and or public hearing and get it all done?
So we just do one public hearing?
So we just do
That's
one.
fine. That's good. That's
Okay.
good. Let's give me them amendments.
So the first amendment is mine, and it is to the end of paragraph 27. It is in your document underlined. I also broke it out for the council on a separate paper. And if you recall, it's an insurance amendment that we, yes, sir. It's an insurance amendment that I said that we would need to work on over the next month with the attorneys, and they've come to this agreement. And it's an insurance, it's like I said, it's an insurance issue, adding us as an additional insured to the work that they do. They just want to come up with that language. So it is there, and I will read it. At the end of paragraph 57, it adds the language pursuant to Louisiana Revised Statute 9:2780.1, owner shall obtain insurance to cover owner's liabilities hereunder and the liabilities of city. Owner acknowledges the insurance it procures pertains to the owner's promise to indemnify, defend, or hold harmless city or agent or employee of the city, and the instant agreement requires owner to obtain insurance to ensure its obligation to indemnify, defend, or hold harmless. Owner further acknowledges it will recover the cost of such insurance as consideration it receives through benefits derived from this agreement, and the instant provision constitutes evidence that owner did, in fact, recover the costs of the insurance required in this agreement. Owner's obligation to maintain insurance as required by Section 57 may be transferred, assigned, and assumed by the then responsible property owners association, commercial owners association, and or any other association of owners or operators of parcels within the property as applicable.
Okay. And you said we have a second motion?
Second.
But no, we're gonna bring up a second.
Oh.
Approve that one first?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, right. Okay, do you want to do both amendments or take them one at a time?
We'll do both. I'll offer that as amendment number 1.
Okay, and so someone's offering amendment number
All right.
2?
Amendment number 2, line 95, under commercial parcels, we're gonna remove line 95, parts of line 95, residential detached near lot line homes such as garden homes and patio homes with minimum lot area and setback regulations shall be permitted as specified herein. Minimum lot or dimension shall be a width of not less than 35 feet and depth of not less than 80 feet. These lots shall have a minimum side yard setback of 3 feet on each side with a 10-foot rear and 10-foot front yard setback. We will remove them lines.
Okay, so now anyone want to speak on these amendments and the ordinance, correct? We'll now open for public hearing.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, ladies and gentlemen of the council. I'm Edward Suffren. I'm representing JW Colonial Group, the developer for the project. We consent to those amendments. Did want to give a statement for the public about what the concept was with the garden homes. And it was really and it was specifically for the commercial section of the property. And it really was to provide a lifestyle option to the residents of Harahan, directed to retirees or empty nesters. The concept were smaller homes. When you're tired of your house, your yard, you give that up, you downsize. This would have all of your landscaping in place, taken care of for you. And it's really a step down before you would have to go to assisted living or nursing home. And now you would have that right next door at the Blake. So it was really to give an option for potential development in the commercial to create a neighborhood type of atmosphere. So I just wanted to give that explanation on why it was there. And the developer, again, does consent to the amendments.
Copy that.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, Maurizio Francescon, 239 West Avenue. And just want to, this is the ADA, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Just want to comment on, as also speaking as the chairman for the Planning and Zoning Board, you know, we take our job seriously. It's volunteer. And people send me stuff. I try to respond as quickly as possible, try to find out the information. So, again, people like to post things on Facebook, okay? And for example, Barbara Harney, you know, friend of mine, immediately I called Dana McCarran to clear up the air, thinking they're gonna tear down the house and just plow down the road over onto Glenwood, okay? Get another message about the garden homes and the losing of the green space. Where's the road gonna go? I respond, this is preliminary. It's still an ongoing development. It's preliminary. We still have conditional and final plat approval. And I explained to this person, please stop relying on these internet hucksters who do not bother to come to a planning and zoning board meeting or a city council meeting because it's disinformation. I find it offensive to not only myself, but the rest of the people on the board. Again, I know a lot of us have degrees, we're attorneys, people have businesses, they've been here. That's, I think that should be respected and not be called names. And I don't take it personally. I mean, it doesn't, but I'm gonna stand up for my other board members because I guess you can call me the senior of the group at this point.
So am I. How you like that?
So, and I urge you to, I would, again, when this comes up for approval, you address the garden homes. Obviously, that's not going to happen. That's been stricken. And I guess the question I responded to that person who emailed me on Facebook, I will ask those questions to the council about obviously the green space, losing of the green space, and yeah, I think, and the road. Where's the road going to be? But obviously, we do not know that yet because obviously all those plans need to be developed. So, again, hopefully I would pass this tonight to get the preliminary approval so the developer can start coming up with some concrete plans and actual renditions of what the property is going to look like, lot lines, everything, because obviously it's going to come back to planning and zoning and then come back to city council, and there's probably multiple revisions to make sure we're all happy with it. Can't make everyone happy, but considering that this is probably the biggest development in Harahan, Jefferson Parish, and of those who are not aware, Kenner, with the development plans for Esplanade Mall, tearing it down, Lake Town, these are all things that are coming up. So we kind of want to get the ball rolling
Yes, sir.
because these are tax dollars that could attract people to those areas.
Great point.
And of course, they're doing the work over on Clearview Mall with the
Yeah.
townhomes and stuff like that. So, I mean, apartments, condos, or whatever the development is over there. So you have multiple projects, major projects going on within Jefferson Parish and the municipalities, and this should be considered another major project within the city of Harahan. So that's my comment.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, when no one else coming to address, we'll now close public hearing. All right, council discussion.
I don't have any discussion.
Is
Okay.
the dollar amount of the insurance covered under the state statute by any chance?
No, sir.
So should we insert a dollar amount? Does anybody, it's quite common when you have an insurance clause in a contract to put a minimum amount of coverage.
So this is just, this is actually an indemnity clause. I guess there's some state law or case law out there that's saying that an indemnity clause is no good without insurance requirement. Is that right?
Kind of the
Mr.
other way
Best?
around, I think. You can't have an insurance clause without an indemnity requirement.
No, it's the way I said it.
Okay,
It's,
maybe. Go ahead.
So, no, there's no amount required. It's just saying that they will get the amount of insurance that will indemnify the entire agreement.
I just have one question, legal question. Where it says, if there is any conflict between the agreement and ordinances, the provisions in the agreement shall control. Is that common procedure? Should that be something that we should just go through ordinances and try and decipher what's different from ordinances and see about correcting it beforehand, or? That's my only question.
I defer to
And
the city attorney
yeah.
and the special counsel.
Is that something that could come back to bite us in the long run? With the paragraph 2 at the end of that, if there is any conflict between the agreement and ordinances, the provisions in this agreement shall control.
What paragraph did you say?
It's line 75 and
Line
76.
75 and 76,
Okay.
yeah. Paragraph 2.
Got it.
Okay. Okay. I was just worried, a little worried in the
I'm
wording
gonna
of
reach
it.
out and explain that a little bit. This property right here basically says they can't come in to C1 and put anything in a multifamily house and
Right.
anything like that. Our city ordinance will allow them to do that.
Right, right. Okay.
So if this here would go to court and the city ordinance would overrule,
Right.
they could take that whole commercial and start putting multifamily housing.
Gotcha.
So I think we might want to stick to this.
Yeah, I was just worried
Leave
about the
that in there.
legal aspects of it. I didn't know if it opened up a can of worms to the rest of the city, where if we allow them to do something, somebody else in the city could come and say, well, you allowed this under this agreement, why aren't you allowing me? Something like that. Right. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna call for the vote.
So just a quick statement. I think that this amendment is good for the city, it's good for the developers. The property has sat vacant for 8 years, or almost 8 years, almost vacant for almost 8 years, and
15?
yeah,
Longer than me.
15. It'll this just gets the property hopefully moving to be able to develop and get some new tax revenue in Harahan, get some new residents in Harahan, and hopefully like I say, get it developed.
You know, the only thing I gotta say is that we have a real forward-thinking Planning and Zoning Board. We have some real forward-thinking Harahan residents, you know, that are ready to see Harahan's brighter days. And I think you, of course, you have a very forward-thinking administration. So, with that being said, we'll call for the vote.
Wait, we need a second on both of the amendments.
Oh, I'm sorry, okay. So we'll take Amendment 1, changing paragraph 27th. I have a motion by Councilman Asbill, second by Councilman Chatterling. All in favor?
Yay.
All right, 5 yeas, 0 nays. And then we have on number 2, removal
Second.
of, line number 95, removal of the garden homes. We have a motion by Councilman Chatterling, second by Councilman Buddy. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Both amendments have been accepted. Now, we'd like to call for the vote
Move
on
to
the.
adopt as amended.
All right, so we have a motion by Councilman Asbill to vote on, what's that? All right, so we call for public hearing one more time? For the whole ordinance with amendments? All right, no one coming to speak forth. We'll now close public hearing, and now we're going to vote on the ordinance, proposed ordinance number 2021-8. We have a motion by Councilman Asbill, second by Councilman Chatterling. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Thank you. All right, Madam Clerk?
It's been a long 15 years.
For me, 12 and a half.
And proposed ordinance number 2021-11. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Wheeler and seconded by Councilman. Who
Second.
would like to second this one? Chatterling?
Who got it? Chatterling?
It don't matter.
An ordinance approving the final re-subdivision plat of Lot A2B1, Soniat or Chapatoulas Plantation subdivision, City of Harahan, Parish of Jefferson, State of Louisiana, into Lot A2B1A, Soniat or Chapatoulas Plantation subdivision, and Lots 9 through 13, Colonial Place, Phase 1, all pursuant to a plan made by Ronald Clement, PLS, dated September 24th, 2020, last revised as a final plat on May 5th, 2021.
Okay, anyone want to come speak on proposed ordinance 2021-11? Public hearing is now open.
Again, Edward Suffren here for JW Colonial Group. This is the final plat request for the 5 lots. Initially, this was proposed as 6 lots, and we since changed it to 5 lots to create larger, more spacious lots. All of the lots are larger. A preliminary approval was granted by this council under Ordinance 1917, adopted April 15th, 2021. At its June 2nd meeting, Planning and Zoning unanimously approved our final plat. The proposed ordinance already contains all of the same requirements which we've incorporated into the previously approved 8 lots. The lots cannot be subdivided into smaller lots. The same setbacks and sideline requirements apply. Ordinarily, at this final plat stage, the subdivider or developer here would have all utilities in place. Here, we still need to install the sewer and electric for the 5 lots, and that's going to be placed at the rear of the lots in established servitude areas, which will be created by this plat. Despite the fact that the utilities are not in right now, Harahan regulations, and specifically HCO Section 86-57C, permits the final plat approval when the developer guarantees the installation of the utilities. And I'm going to quote from that section: "The subdivider may execute and file guarantees with the city in lieu of actual installation or completion of the required improvements when requesting approval of the final plat." When we submitted our final plat ordinance to the city, I also submitted a construction agreement and a bond. The construction agreement would obligate the developer to install these exact utilities. There's an exhibit there which was prepared by Duplantis Engineering, and it's an approximate $90,000 number to install these utilities. The bond that we submitted was for $100,000, which is 110% of the proposed work. And Duplantis has confirmed that there's enough in there to accomplish the design as well. We, since the time we submitted the bond with the construction agreement, we did have conversations with the city attorney and your outside counsel, Mr. Best. I believe at this point, we've accepted all the comments from the city's attorneys. So I believe we have an acceptable form of the construction agreement and the escrow agreement. And essentially, what the escrow agreement does, it takes the place of the bond. And that way, the developer doesn't have to go through the bond issuance process and pay the premium to the surety. This way, we just post the cash, which is even better than the bond, and that would be used to draw upon if the developer doesn't timely complete these improvements. And I submit to you that the developer is highly motivated to get these improvements in the ground, in place, because they need to do it to sell the lots. And so you know that that will happen. Today, what is your standard for this approval? Do we meet subdivision and zoning regulations? Yes, we do in all instances. We respectfully request your approval. Thank you.
I just have one question. Is he highly motivated?
Very highly motivated.
And I think we need to hurry up while the river's down.
Yeah, right. Okay, so public, anyone else coming to speak? No one else coming. Public hearing is now closed. Council discussion.
So as Mr. Suffren stated, in order to actually make this a final approval, there has to be a corresponding construction and escrow agreement signed by the mayor. And so those have been provided for the council written here. But that's not a requirement in the ordinance. So I want to add an amendment here that says this ordinance is subject to a valid and executed construction agreement and an escrow agreement in accordance with Harahan Code of Ordinances, Section 86-56.
Okay, so we're gonna have to open that amendment to public hearing?
Edward Suffren, on behalf of the developer, no objection to the amendment.
Got it? Okay, no one else coming to speak. We'll now close public hearing.
And where is that being added to?
I'm sorry, that's adding new Section 9. I just did that about 10 minutes ago out in the hallway. It's new Section 9, is that right?
Yes.
Yep, new Section 9.
Could you read it again, please?
Sure. This ordinance is subject to a valid and executed construction agreement and escrow agreement in accordance with Harahan Code of Ordinances, Section 86-56.
You want to say as per the attached and just make them a part of it?
Included here as Appendix A and B. Sure. Appendices A and B, is that okay?
Appendix A.
So I was just talking with Mr. Best, who helped draft this. I know the council just got these agreements. Mr. Suffren is correct. The escrow and construction agreement need to be signed in order for them to work, to start work. So I think the condition or the requirement in this ordinance is fine. However, the escrow and construction agreement would need to be via resolution and approved by the council at the next meeting. So as long as it's clear that they can't move forward on this until these are approved by the council at the next meeting, since they just got it today. I think that's fine.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor by Councilman Asbill to add the amendment of Section 9. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Chatelain. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Okay. And so now we're going to have a...
Excuse me, Mayor, do you have to open it up to public hearing?
We did.
Yep, we did.
You have to
Yeah,
open it up
Mr.
on the
Suffolk got it.
All right, so now we're going to open up the public hearing, the ordinance with amendment.
Edward Suffren again for the developer. My only concern is with attaching the unsigned documents, and this is going to be recorded with the plat. I'm worried about future title examiners, and they're going to wonder whether they ever got executed. So I just don't want to create that issue.
So can we just say it's subject to the execution of and just don't attach the exhibits?
Yes, I think it just creates a title
No,
issue.
I would agree.
And I would add that it cannot be filed or moved on, and the lots cannot be sold until these are executed, the agreement.
We do agree with that as well.
Yeah, so.
I mean, I think.
All right, so you're going to change your amendment?
us to add additional languages that no sales can move forward until execution, or is that kind of self-serving? in the
Yeah.
document
Subject and
itself?
execution. Okay.
Sales,
Lots can be sold.
improvements, filing of the plat, so improvements, sales of the lots, and recording the final
So
plat.
this ordinance, though, is creating just 9 through 13, is that correct? Yes.
That is correct.
So we're just establishing 5 new lots of records just with this ordinance.
Correct.
So technically, that can be done just, and it's, we're creating the 5 lots, with the understanding, though, that you can't sell them, obviously, without until the
Right.
construction agreement and escrow, which honestly, you wouldn't be able to sell the lots without the utilities established anyway, am I correct?
Right, the developer would be in bad faith doing that.
Yeah.
Uh,
So do we want to add another section, the section D?
No. With the amendment that I proposed here, this ordinance is subject to, doesn't that just not create the 5 lots until this is signed?
Yes, and my,
So that would be good nothing.
No, he was just
my
saying
intention
that
is
makes
not to submit the final plat to the city
Right.
until we have the signed escrow agreement, and it still needs a city signature.
Okay.
So I envisioned signing the plat itself and then having the escrow agreement and construction agreement signed all at the same time. So recordation wouldn't happen until after all of this is accomplished.
Right.
Which is fine, and I'm just saying, put that in this ordinance, which you're agreeable to.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What you said just needs to be.
For point of clarification, haven't we already created the lots? But this is final,
No, they're not created
final
until
plat.
the plat is signed, the
Okay.
ordinance is final, and it's all recorded.
thank you.
Okay, so for the city attorney and the special counsel, right now, my amendment says, Section 9, this ordinance is subject to a valid and executed construction agreement and escrow agreement in accordance with Harahan Code of Ordinances, Section 86-56. What would you like me to add to that amendment? I think that's sufficient.
I think it's sufficient.
Okay.
That's already voted on that.
Okay.
Right.
Mr. Suffern, that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yes.
We already voted on that amendment, so we're
Do we have to
good.
open up a public hearing again now that he's changed the amendment substantially? What's that?
Yes, we did.
We voted the
Yep.
amendment, yeah.
Okay, so now we're gonna vote on the ordinance as amended. We have a motion by Councilman,
Wait, sounds- Motion.
motion by Councilman Wheeler, second by Councilman Asbell. Oh, I'm sorry. Motion by Councilman Wheeler, second by Councilman Chatelain. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Warren Smith.
That was your ordinance, I'm sorry.
All right. Proposed ordinance number 2021-12. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Buddy and seconded by Councilman
Second.
Chatelain.
Before we open this up for public hearing, I'd like to say that I'm going to withdraw this proposed ordinance.
Okay, Councilman Buddy is gonna remove, you're gonna floor it?
So I'm going to
Oh,
withdraw.
and Mr. Councilman Buddy's gonna withdraw this ordinance?
However, I still think you need to open it up.
Yeah, we still have to open up the public hearing.
Okay, so anyone want to speak of? Yeah, not if you withdraw. Scott, if we were drawing an ordinance, do we have to open up a public hearing?
No, because there's no vote.
Got it. Okay, cool. All right,
great.
all right, Madam Clerk.
David is going to advertise?
All right, proposed ordinance number 2021-13. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Asbell and seconded by Councilman
I'll second it.
Wheeler. An ordinance amending ordinance number 1909, the annual budget of revenues and expenditures for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2021 for the capital project fund of the city of Harahan, Louisiana, and this for police and fire department.
Okay, now we open for public hearing. Anyone wants to speak on proposed ordinance 2021-13? All right, no one coming forward to speak. Public hearing is now closed. Council discussion?
No discussion.
No discussion?
I have an amendment.
Shocker.
Yeah. We're going to delete lines 21 and 22 and amend line 19 to read increased by 14,000.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
So the original amount was 10,000. It was split between police and fire. After discussion with the assistant police chief and the fire chief today, the fire department's just gonna administer the whole AED program for the city. And, so it's just gonna go all to the fire account, so you can order everything for police and fire. And what this does is it provides, it was originally 10,000 because we didn't, we didn't include the recreation and senior center in the original guesstimate. And so this adds 2 AEDs, one outside and one inside to recreation, one to the senior center, which has been outdated for about 8 years now. It adds, it replaces 2 fire ones that are expired, replaces 4 police department batteries that are expired, a bunch of new pads that are all expired. They expire after 2 years, and 2 wall cabinets for the recreation to put them in at the recreation center. So that comes to a total of about 14,000 for all of them.
Just for clarification, the fire department's going to administer it, but they're not necessarily going to be the only people trained to actually
No, so
utilize it.
these are the real high-tech AEDs that walk you and I through the
Right.
actual process.
So somebody
So
at the
fire-
playground or at City Hall
Right.
would be able to follow the instructions, follow the bouncy ball.
I mean, it depends
If
on
I
the.
grab it, get nervous.
It should be.
Should be.
So, but yeah, so when I
That's
say
the
administer
intention.
the program, they're gonna order the stuff, they're gonna install everything, they're gonna service it, make sure everything's kept up to date.
So this 10,000 originally proposed will now be 14,000, but it includes additional equipment and replacements than the original proposal.
So you'll have
Correct.
senior center, 2 at the playground, 1 in City Hall, 1 in the police.
There's one, we don't have one at City Hall. We can,
We have one now at
I
City
think
Hall.
we do.
In the cafeteria, in the lunchroom.
I think it's in one.
oh, you're right. There is, so the one at, he didn't mention the one
So
at
let's
City
up
Hall.
it to
Yeah.
16,000.
Okay, yeah, they're about $2,100, so we can up it to 16.
Okay.
And if there's extra money, we put it back.
That's right. All right, so move to amend by deleting lines 21 and 22 and increasing line 19 from 8,000 to 16,000.
Okay, so a public hearing on the amendment will now be open. No one coming to speak forth. Public hearing is now closed. We have a motion on the floor by Councilman Asbill to
Second.
remove line 21 and 22 and increasing the total to 16,000. We have a second by Councilman Johnson. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Ordinance passes.
No, that was the.
I'm sorry, that was the amendment. Ordinance is amended.
Need to open
Okay,
the
now,
public hearing.
now we're going to open for public hearing. The ordinance is amended. We'll now open ordinance 2021-13. All right, public hearing is now closed. No one coming to speak forth. Now we will vote on the ordinance 2021-13. We have a motion
Moved.
motion by Councilman Asbill, second by Councilman Wheeler. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Ordinance passes with amendments.
Thanks, guys.
Okay.
Guys, we really moved this really quick because, just so y'all know, the mayor had a birthday this week.
Oh, stop.
And he's 52 years old, so
nice.
taking these chances, we need to keep this
Nice.
stuff prepared for him. Just in case.
Proposed ordinance number 2021-14.
That's right.
The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Chatelain and seconded by Councilman
I'll second it.
Buddy. An ordinance amending ordinance number 1885, the annual budget of revenues and expenditures for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2020 for the general fund of the city of Harahan, Louisiana.
Okay, anyone want to speak forth on proposed ordinance 2021-14? Public hearing is now open. All right, no one coming to speak forth. Public hearing is now closed. Council discussion?
No discussion.
No discussion.
No discussion.
No
All right.
discussion.
A motion on the floor by Councilman Chatelain, second by Councilman Buddy. All in favor?
Yay.
Nay.
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 So that's 1 yea, 4 nays.
Who was the yay?
Correct.
Oh,
Ordinance fails. Madam Clerk, ordinance for introduction.
all right. Trying to keep up with you, Mayor. Proposed ordinance number 2021-15. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Johnston. This is an ordinance to designate no parking zone and add no parking signage to south side of Marshall Drive. I'm old business, no old business, new business. Number one, Todd Tunion, Finance Director, monthly financials with budget to actual comparisons.
Thank you, Nicole. Council members, just wanted to give a brief update on the 2021 financials and a few other finance-related topics. So first, as the mayor mentioned in his presentation, we continue to see an increase in sales tax activity, particularly in the last 2 months that were $240,000 and $235,000 of sales tax revenue to the city. So that's certainly a positive just from a cash flow standpoint, but also a positive from the budget standpoint as well, because we had budgeted somewhat conservatively due to the nature of when the budget was done back in October, November of 2020, and COVID, and us being uncertain of the COVID impact on the sales tax revenues for 2021. So that's a real positive for the city. The other thing that we wanted to mention was just that we've been working closely with the city's auditors in winding down the financial statement audit, and that process concludes with the issuance of the report, which we expect to happen tomorrow with the submission to the legislative auditor's office. That's really all we had from the finance standpoint. Open to any questions that the council members or the mayor have about the financials.
We're about, oh,
Go ahead, no, go ahead.
I guess we're about halfway, we're a little bit more than halfway through the year now, is that right? We're right at halfway through the year. I guess as a city as a whole, where are we at as far as our budget versus revenues or expenses?
Sure, I would say, so I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I would say on the revenue side, as I mentioned, we budgeted fairly conservatively in a number of categories that are variable. So the sales tax revenue, we budgeted conservatively on. The gaming revenue, which impacts the funding to the capital project fund, we were conservative and uncertain what that number would be when we did the budget, again, 8 or 9 months ago. So that's been ahead of schedule year to date as well. And the other more stable revenue sources, such as property taxes and the franchise fees, are in line with what we had budgeted. Those are fairly dependable, stable revenue sources. On the expense side, expenses are in line in most line items with the amounts budgeted. Certainly there are some exceptions, some amounts over budget, but by and large, no items of significance or note.
Okay.
So Todd, I have a question for you. So I know y'all are completing up the audit, so what I would like to do maybe in August, that'll give us finish July and get that full first half of the year in. I'm gonna send out an email and see if we can just do a budget hearing, maybe just to look over the first half of 2021. And I'd say maybe we can do that in August if possible, like let you finish everything, because I was looking at some projections for 2021 and I'm a little concerned. We had some overspending this year, and it's certainly projected to be that way for last year, and it's certainly looking potentially to be that same way this year. So just to let you finish everything, I know you gotta get the deadlines and everything, and that way we can get the books finished for at least June. Do you think August would be safe to schedule?
Agreed, yes.
So what I'll do is, at the January meeting, I'll throw some dates out if y'all can check your, July meeting, sorry. I'll call some dates out in August, and we'll strictly just do a budget hearing. It'll be scheduled on a different date than our regularly scheduled council meeting, and it'll just be the review of the first half of 2021.
Perfect.
Okay,
Thank you.
that's it.
Great.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm a little concerned.
Madam Clerk?
Okay, new business number 2, official journal, 2021-2022.
Move to
Okay.
approve.
The New Orleans.
Public hearing is now
How we
open.
do that?
Public hearing is now open. All right, no one will come to speak on the official journal. Public hearing is now closed. Council discussion?
No discussion.
No
Same
discussion.
rate.
All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays.
And new business number 3, high content ABO application for Little J's Donuts located at 1301 Hickory Avenue, Suite A for Joshua Dean.
Yeah, I guess so.
They're gonna serve
All
more
right,
shots in
anyone
the donuts.
want to come speak
Like
forth
middle of
about the
donuts,
high
they pull up
content
shotgun.
ABO at Little J's? No one coming to speak forth. Public hearing is now closed. Chief?
Everything's approved, just waiting for
Okay,
fingerprints to come back from Baton Rouge.
all right. Have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, second by Wheeler. All in favor?
Yay.
Yeah.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Madam Clerk,
Alrighty.
new business number 4.
New business number 4, approval to renew Mr. Gerard Brady's term as the administrative representative of the Harahan Municipal Fire and Police Civil Service Board.
Okay, we now open for public hearing. No one coming to speak for public hearing. We now close public hearing. Do I have a motion to approve Mr. Gerard Brady's? I believe he does.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, second by Councilman Wheeler. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Thank you for your service, Mr. Gerard.
Okay, new business number 5, Planning and Zoning Commission nomination and appointment.
I'd like to make a motion to defer.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Chatelain to defer, second by Councilman Asbill. All in favor? Do we
Yay.
have to open that up for public hearing? Yeah, we would open for public hearing on planning and zoning nominations. All right, no one having any, we'll now close
Well,
public hearing. We have
council
a motion on the
discussion,
floor.
since we're deferring it, I'd like
would-
to, since we're deferring, I'd like to just put out a call for anybody who wants to serve on the board.
Yes.
Please let us know, email us, call us, do what you need to do
And
to,
FYI, we
to
are
get-
looking for some ladies on the board,
Absolutely.
so we are looking for some
I
ladies.
have 2 people who I would love to bring in and let y'all meet.
Perfect.
Spoke to them already. One of them's excited.
And one of them we have to make exciting.
That's right, yeah, right.
And one of them knows what it actually entails.
Yeah, all right, look, we moving on. Okay, we have that as deferred. Madam Clerk, address the council.
Okay. Would anyone like to address the council?
Okay, I would like to take a point of personal privilege right now. The owner of Wandering Goat is here, and I'd like for him to come on up just for a second. Let's talk a little bit about his restaurant. And y'all, his stuff is awesome. It is decadent and it is sassy.
Mr. Mayor, Councilman,
Yes,
thanks
sir.
for having me, you guys.
State your name and for the record.
My name's Dale Gotro. I'm
Right.
one of the owners,
Yes,
one of the 2
awesome.
owners of the Wandering Goat. The other one is Brandy Morrison.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We've had a tough time this year. We signed a lease for our business February of last year, and little did we know what was going to happen. March 15th was when we were supposed to open up, and we delayed it quite a bit because that's when the lockdown started. So we opened Easter weekend because rent was going to be due at the end of the month, so we decided to open up and give it our best shot. We've withstood a good bit. Recently, I've gone back to my other job. I'm working 2 jobs at the moment. I used to be a bail bondsman, and I'm still doing that now, just to kind of make ends meet. We feel like that if we can get over the hump, that we'll make it. We know that a lot of the folks of Harahan really like us being there, and we want to stay, and we want to continue to grow it. We just need, we need a little help, and hopefully we can get some. Hopefully, we could do a grand opening, something like that, now that everything's kind of cleared out of the way, and want to get you guys' thoughts on it.
Okay, someone from our staff will be contacting you. We'll be doing a grand opening. You are next. And we would love to get some eyes on you guys and get everybody. He's back there by Happy Italian guys. And, it's incredible. Please go out, go patronize his restaurant, go try out his stuff. It's incredible, him and Brandy as well. And so let's support them, y'all. Come on, they
completely
need
get
our
lost
help.
back there. It's amazing, where we are. Everyone knew that the Ice Queens, I believe,
Yeah,
were there
Ice-
for
yeah,
many
yeah.
years,
Yeah, yeah.
and people recognized that was there. And as soon as you say that, oh, I know where you are.
Yep.
So we're hoping to get a little bit of exposure.
You got it. We like it.
Did you mention your days and hours of operation too?
Okay, right now, we're operating in a limited days. We're open Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And we do a little bit of wholesale selling as well. We sell to Oak Oven. So that's one of the reasons that we're closed, some of the days of the week. Just because we're closed doesn't mean we're not baking. And we're gonna talk to the Blake this Thursday to see if we're gonna do, work in their cafe and do some bagels and things like that.
And can you order ahead? Can you place like
Absolutely.
pickup orders, stuff like
Yes.
that?
Yes,
Right.
we take orders over the phone, specialty orders, anything that we may not make every week that someone's looking for. There's a lot of bread that I make that doesn't really sell that well, but if somebody wants it, I will absolutely make it for them.
Give us your phone number.
Phone number is 504-915-2400.
Thank you.
And what are your hours Thursday,
Yes.
Friday, and Saturday?
2 o'clock to 6 o'clock on Thursday and Friday, and then 12 to 6 on Saturday. And we're looking to open up a little bit on Sunday coming up and try to add that day in.
Yeah. That'd be pretty cool. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
You got
Thank
it.
you, Mr.
Thanks
Thank
for having
you.
me. Appreciate
Yes,
it.
sir. Thank you. Y'all, let's support them. Come on, they need our help. Let's get behind them. All right, Madam Clerk.
Anybody else want to address the council?
All right, we'll now close address to council.
And
All right, Secretary.
Secretary's report for May 2021. Total revenues, 467,104.
Okay,
And reports.
all right, Chief Walker.
Statistics for the Harahan Police Department for the month of May 2021. We had 865 calls for service, 9 accidents, 164 citations issued for 272 violations. We had 10 patrol requests. Number of arrests for narcotics were 15, 21 charges, 6 of them were felony, 5 misdemeanors, and 10 city charges. Other arrests were 53 for 73 different charges, 5 felonies, 47 misdemeanors, 12 city, and 9 traffic. Persons and property crimes, no murders, no rapes, no robberies, 1 residential burglary, 1 non-residential burglary, no attempted burglary, 1 motor vehicle theft, no attempted motor vehicle thefts, 4 larceny thefts, and 7 assaults. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Chief St. Cyr is absent. Councilman Asbell.
Happy 4th of July. I hope everyone has a great rest of their summer.
Councilman Buddy.
Be safe, enjoy the 4th.
Councilman Chatelain.
No report.
Councilman Johnston.
Have a happy and safe 4th.
Councilman Wheeler, do you want people to have a happy 4th of July, bro? Councilman Wheeler.
I would just like to kind of piggyback what Mauricio had said earlier. We always seem to go back to the wonderful Facebook warriors that we have in this city. And every month it comes out of what our revenue is and what our expenditures are. And it's been made very clear, as you'll see on our agenda, what our revenues were. Of course, our expenditures exceed our revenue. Does not mean the city is in the red. I will reiterate that again. So if anybody has any questions about anything, we are always available. Our numbers are on the website. You can call us anytime. If you need any clarifications, please, I will ask Mr. Turner if he can just kind of elaborate on that. It seems to be an issue that occurs quite often because of all of our money seems to come in at the end of the year. It doesn't mean that we're running in the red and bills aren't being paid. So,
Sure,
if you can
thank
just-
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So just the expenses as reported in this week's or this meeting's agenda are higher than normal because we paid the annual debt service payment on the outstanding bonds, and that payment was $238,000 in the month of May. So if you're looking at just the total expenses, it's higher than it's been in prior months because of that required annual debt service payment. It's once a year, so it's not a monthly payment or quarterly payment, it's a once-a-year payment, and it was made in May 2021.
How many more years we have on that?
It's 20, I think when I looked at it, 2023 is three is the last year, but we have 1 year in the debt service fund.
So it's
So
really
it's
two.
really, it's 2 years' worth of payments. Really, we may be able to pay it off next year.
I think
Because
so.
the funds are in the debt service fund. We would make 2
But
payments
we'll only make
next
one
year.
more payment regardless, 200.
Because the
Or if we,
No.
if we make
No.
the second payment, we get 200 in the fund back to us, correct?
Right. There's 2 payments left totaling approximately 450 or 500,000. And so one will be charged against the 2022 budget, and the 2023 payment will be made out of the debt service fund, which we already have 225,000 in that fund.
Basically
in-
covered.
Basically
Right,
zero.
right, in order to make that payment. So it's really one more payment out of the general fund, and then those funds will be available for the general fund in the 2023 year.
And also what's shown on total expenditures could be even bills paid out of different accounts, like capital and stuff like that. And I know we talked about, we might want to show it differently.
Yep.
Because I could see potentially where somebody would look at it and see this.
Yep.
So we might want to look into, when you see 763, that's not, it could be, like you said, this, it could be something for capital, it could be the sewer
Correct.
department, things like
Correct.
that. So we might want to
We can
look at that.
at
Or
a-
I think most, if anybody, again, has any concerns about anything, please feel free to reach out to us. And have a happy 4th of July.
I think that's a great idea, Councilman Wheeler, because the payments out of the sewer fund in particular, sewer fund has revenue that's not counted in that 400 and something
Right.
thousand. So we're not really giving the clearest picture. That's a great idea.
Yeah, and I also just find it kind of comical that this seems to be an issue now under this administration. It wasn't an issue under any other prior administrations when there were times that expenditures were more than revenues. I'm just gonna,
And it also seems to be an issue with one person who truly knows better. So, but it's a non-issue.
It's-
The city is not running a deficit. We're projected to run a surplus for 2021. We ran a surplus for 2020, and I believe we ran a surplus for 2019. So don't be alarmed by what you see on the internet.
well said. Thank you. Mayor.
All right, two things. One, of course, I want to wish everyone a happy 4th of July. And two, I want to recognize former councilman and former mayor and former Councilman District 2, Paul Johnson, who just joined us today. And in that, he brought to my attention, from him being here, that our new Councilman District 2, Dino Bonanno, is involved in a very crucial and important project for the city. He is working with the developers right now to get us a pump to the river. And I hear a lot that, people say, well, we should just enlarge the culverts under the highway. But we always got to think into consideration, enlarging those culverts is just going to move the water from one side of the highway to the other and flood those people on its way to the lake. We need to really try to work hard to get that water over the river, and we can solve a lot of problems back there. And I know Councilman District 2 Dino Bonanno is working very hard with the developers trying to get us there. And I want to make sure that I say thank you, as well as, thank you to Councilman Paul Johnson, who has done so much for our city. And so, Dino, this is a heartfelt thank you. Thank you so much for putting the city's interest at heart. And hopefully you can make this happen for us. And that's it for me.
Pay bills.
She sleep.
Pay them bills.
She sleep.
Yeah.
Bills paid in May, total expenditures, $763,008.58.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All right, we have a motion on the floor by Councilman Asbill, second by Councilman Johnson to adjourn. All in favor?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays, we are adjourned.